Hello, welcome to Code with Vijay. My name is Vishwanathan. I'm working as a senior software engineer, and this is my personal blog, codewithvijay.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, GitHub, and Twitter as well. So today we'll see lifecycle management in AWS S3. So what basically means lifecycle management? Okay. So if you guys are aware about S3 basics, basically we have three different kind of storage class. Okay, that is Amazon S3 standard, Amazon S3 standard infrequent access, or that is called standard IA, and Amazon Glacier. Okay, these are the three storage classes available in AWS S3. So we can set policies to store in one of these classes. Okay, basically the main idea behind that is depends on our file usage. We can store file in any of these classes. That will save money. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of lifecycle management. Okay, if you guys are not aware about S3 basics, I have quite a few video on S3 basics in my channel. Go and watch that before proceeding further. Okay, I'll give you a quick walkthrough on each of these storage classes, and let's start with Amazon S3 standard. Okay, so let's see the features. Actually Amazon S3 standard offers high durability. Okay, actually that is offering durability of 99.999999999. That is 11 nines after the decimal place. Okay, no, that's offering that level of durability for S3 standard, and that is highly available. Okay, the availability rate is 99.9%. Okay, that is highly available, and performance is pretty high. Okay, and it is using for frequently accessed data. Okay, frequently accessed data means by what does it mean? Say you have a website, basically a dynamic website. Okay, and you want to keep data that is using by that website to S3. Okay, so the suggested place to store that file is S3 standard, because that is frequently accessed files. Okay, all the frequently accessed files should store in S3 standard for high availability. Okay, and or another example, say you have a mobile or gaming application, and all that data is actually frequently accessed data. Okay, so S3 standard is a good candidate or a good place to store that frequently accessed data. Okay, and the key features are low latency. We'll get data in milliseconds. Okay, and obviously high throughput. That is so highly performing storage class. Okay, and as I mentioned before, that is highly durable. That is 99.11 nines. Okay, that's a durability rate, and the availability is 99.99%. That is highly available, and which support SSL encryption of data. Okay, and lifecycle management for auto migration of objects. Okay, it means basically we can automatically migrate data to another storage class. I'll show that in hands-on lab on how to set up lifecycle management. Okay, now let's jump into S3 standard infrequent access. So as the name indicates, that is commonly used as a storage place to store infrequently accessed file. Say you don't want data to be accessed in every seconds or every minute. Okay, then S3 standard is not a good place to store. So in that case, you can store your data in S3 standard infrequent access. Okay, so S3 standard infrequent access is an Amazon S3 storage class for data that is accessed less frequently but requires rapid access when needed. Okay, still the speed of data retrieval will be pretty high. Okay, but that's a good place to store infrequently accessed files. Okay, so that is highly durable, and high throughput and low latency. Okay, and there's a cost for storage and retrieval of files, that is based on per GB. Okay, and infrequent access class is pretty ideal for long-term storage, or if you want to back up our data, okay, for say or we want to store our data for disaster recovery. So in all that scenarios, infrequently infrequently access class is an ideal place to store your files. Okay, and the key features are same low latency as standard and high throughput. Okay, and the same durability. Okay, and it's designed for 99.9% percentage availability. Okay, but standard is 99.99% availability over a given year. And like S3 standard, S3 IA also supports SSL encryption of data, and we can set up lifecycle management for auto migration of objects. So I'll show that in the lab how to set up that. And the next storage class is Amazon Glacier. So Glacier is actually the place or the class we are using for data archival. Say if your data is not using for quite a long time, so that long time you can configure. Anyway, I'll show that in lab. Yeah, if your data is not using for quite a long time, then Glacier is a good place to move your files for data archival. Okay, again, that is secure, durable, and extremely low cost. Actually, that's a better solution than developing something on premise. The cost of Amazon Glacier is comparatively very less. Okay, so the key features are again highly durable, like S3 standard and S3 IA. Okay, it supports SSL encryption. So here it didn't mention about availability or the latency, because once we store files in Glacier, then to get that files back, it will take some time. So it will take 2 to 3 hours to get that file back from Glacier. So the availability or speed is comparatively less than S3 standard and S3 IA. Okay, also that is extremely low cost, and that's an ideal place for long time data archival. And Glacier also support lifecycle management for automatic migration of objects. Okay, so that is all in a high level about 3 different storage classes. Okay, now let's see how we can set up lifecycle management for S3 objects. Let me jump straight into AWS console. So I have logged into my AWS console. So let me go to S3. So basically I'm going to create a new bucket, and I'm going to set up lifecycle management for that new bucket. Okay, so the way it works in old console is a bit different than with a new console. So I'll show how we can set up lifecycle management in both new console and old console. So let me start with new console first. So create bucket, and the bucket name is code with Vijay Lifecycle new console. Okay, and I'm leaving location as my default location. Click next. I'm enabling versioning. If you don't want to enable, then you can leave it. But I want to show you the full feature of lifecycle management, how it behaves with different versions as well. So because of that, I'm enabling versioning for this bucket. Click next. Click next, and create bucket. So you can see that bucket has been created now. So let's see how we can set up lifecycle management on that bucket. Click on that bucket, click on management. Here you can see lifecycle tab. Okay, in that add lifecycle rule. Click on that, and we have to give a rule name. So say I'm giving new console rule. Okay, So this one, I can filter on subfolders in my bucket, but I'm leaving it like that because I want to give lifecycle management to my whole bucket. Okay, click next here, and I want to configure the transition rule to my current version and previous version. That's the reason I have enabled versioning. If I was not enabled that one, then I shouldn't have get these two options. I shouldn't get a previous version. So that's the main reason I've enabled versioning. Okay, and basically we can configure a transition rule for current version of objects, that's here, and I can configure transition rule to my previous version of objects, that's here. Okay, so let me add the first transition rule. So click on this link, add transition, and so this is the transition rule. But by default, when I create an object, the default class, storage class, AWS will select is standard class. Okay, it means now my object is under standard storage class. Okay, so I want to set a transition. So transition to standard infrequently access after how many days? Say by default that is 30 days, and the reason by default that is 30 days because say when I select a value which is less than 30, it will give an error message. A minimum of 30 days is required before transitioning to the standard infrequently access storage class. It means the minimum it should be there in a minimum 30 days it should be there in standard class before moving to infrequently access. So I'm giving 30. So after 30 days, move my file to standard IA class. Okay, that's my first transition. I can add another transition as well. So here you can see transition to standard IA is disabled because already we have set a transition rule for that one, and the next one is transition to Amazon Glacier after 60 days. Okay, because if I give any value which is less than 60, I'll get a message. An object must remain in standard IA storage class for a minimum of 30 days before transitioning to Glacier storage class. Okay, and there's a message as well, enter an integer value greater than or equal to 60. Okay, that's the rule. So let me give 60. So all transition rules set for current version of the object. Okay, let me set a transition rule to previous versions of the object. So click on add transition here. So the same thing, transition to standard here after 30 days, and the next one is transition to Glacier after 60 days. Okay, that has been set for both my current version and previous version. So if you guys are not aware about versioning, please go and watch. I have a video in my channel on versioning. Please go and watch that. Okay, let me click next. And we can set up expiration configuration or expiration configuration for current version and previous version. So say expire current version of an object after 425 days of object creation. So now I'm leaving as such the default value, that is 425 for current version and previous version. Okay. So now there's a message, you cannot clean up expired object delete markers if you enable expiration. So I've enabled that. Okay, now clean up incomplete multi-part upload. So after 7 days, I've set up another policy. After 7 days, clean if any incomplete multi-part uploads there, clean that as well. Okay, I've set that. Click next. I can review everything here. Click save. So now you can see here we have set up a lifecycle rule for my bucket, that is code with Vijay lifecycle new console. So that's how we can set up lifecycle management rule in new console. So according to the rule, so whenever a file exceeds 30 days in standard class, it will move to infrequent access storage, and if it exceeds 60 days, then it will go to Glacier, that is the place to archive data. Okay, now let me show how we can set up that in old console. Okay, so let me switch to old console. Here we can switch to, before that let me create a bucket. So I'll create another bucket and set up a lifecycle management for that bucket. Okay, so the bucket name is code with Vijay old console. Okay, click next. I'm enabling versioning, save, click next, create bucket. So now we can see there's another bucket created, code with Vijay old console. Now let me switch into old console. There you can see the bucket which I've created just now. So there you go here. So click on that one. Okay, and sorry, I haven't clicked switch to old console link. Let me go back to my bucket. So click here, switch to old console. That will take me to the old console. So this is the old console. Somehow it is not moving. Let me click that again, switch to old console. Okay, so I've closed my browser and restarted, and when I clicked on switch to old console, that has been taken me to old console. So this is old console, and you can see the bucket which I have created, code with Vijay old console is here. So click on that one and click on properties. So there we can see lifecycle. Click on that, and here is the place we can add rules. Okay, click on add rule. So here now we got a message, versioning is currently enabled on this bucket. So you can use the lifecycle rules to manage all versions of your objects. Yeah, as I told before, that's the reason I have enabled versioning. So if you don't want to apply lifecycle rules to your previous versions, then you don't want to enable versioning. Okay, click on add rule. So I want to apply a rule to my whole bucket. Because of that, I'm not giving any subfolders. Click on configure rules. So here we can see transition to standard infrequent access storage class. Click on that one. After 30 days, as we have set up in new console. So all consoles are pretty much decent and easy to do, I feel, because they have a graphical representation, pictorial representation on how that transition happened. So you can see here, after I selected a transition to standard IA storage class, I got a picture here. So that mentioned day 0, that is object created, and object created is greater than day 30. It means after 30 days basically it will move that to basically the current version will move to standard infrequent access. Okay, now when I select this one, Glacier, this picture will show that as well. Let's see. Click on archival. After 60 days, you can see after 60 days move to Glacier. Okay, and we can set up expire rule. So basically the expire means for versioning enabled buckets, and expire will retain the current versions as previous version and place a delete marker as the current version. Okay, so that's how it works. And if you wish to permanently delete previous versions, combine the expire action here with permanently delete previous version action below. I'll show that how to set up that. Okay, and here you can see that expire policy also has set here. Okay, now let's go to previous versions. So click here. So you can see we got a picture. Current version is overturned or is expired, and it is greater than 30. Then move previous version to infrequently accessed storage. Okay, and move to Glacier storage after 60 days. That has been added here, and this is where we can permanently delete. Okay, this is what I told. Combine expire action here with permanently delete previous version action below. So that's what we have set up here. Okay, we got all the pictorial representation here. So while setting up, you can double check this flow here for current version and previous version as well. Okay, here as well we can set up and then clean up incomplete multi-part uploads after 7 days. That is default, so I've selected that as well. Click next, and we can review everything here, and if you're happy, click on activate rule. So that has enabled lifecycle rule for this bucket, code with Vijay old console. So that's how we can set up with old console. Okay, and if you want to switch from old console to new console, click on storage management. You can see a link here that opt in. When you click on that one, it will take you to new console. Okay, and if you want to switch back again, you can click on switch to old console. So sometimes you may want to restart your browser. Previously it didn't work for me, so when I click on switch to old console, it did not take me to old console, so I had restarted my browser, not the computer, but I restart just the browser, and when you click, it will take you to old console. Actually, I've noticed that in Mozilla, in Chrome, always it took me to old console. That is pretty much in a high level about object lifecycle management. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and the most important thing is, please don't forget to subscribe my channel to get further notification whenever I upload new videos to my channel. Thanks once again. Have a good day.